What's good, people? It's your boy, Icarus Gray. And this is Gray Area Anime, the most wonderful podcast of your day. And we are back with another one. I said back with another one. Kirby says, hi. It's dangerous to go alone. So I choose you guys to go on this journey of all things anime, gaming, and everything nerddom in between with me. For those of you that know that I make music, my album Gray Matter is also out on all of your DSPs. Wherever you listen to your music, go listen to my album. I guarantee you it'll be a wonderful soundtrack for whatever you got going on. We back. Shout out to the No Rhyme No Reason podcast that I also do, and the Bible Study Girl podcast, because I just be podcasting everywhere. I'm glad to be back. I have a bit of a surprise as well. I'm pretty sure you guys, like, there have been so many episodes that there's a blatant something missing. There's been like a gap, if you will. The executive producer Prima Diva is back, guys.
Oh, I was the gap?
Yeah, you were missing.
Oh.
Missing in action there.
What?
Yeah, I know. It was crazy.
Well, I'm glad you found me.
I am too.
Well, hello,
crazy,
everyone.
know.
It's good to be back.
It's crazy. Like, it took over a year to get you to do some work on this here podcast and actually executive produce something.
Do you want to tell the people?
Do
you want to tell the people what I've been doing over that past, year and a half or whatever the heck it's been going on?
I mean, pussyfooting around mostly.
Wow. Wow.
That's what's been going on.
The disrespect.
That's what's been happening.
It's just out of control. I didn't abandon you, dear listeners.
Hey, listen.
Okay?
Yeah,
I literally
hey.
have been working my hide off. Exactly. And that's what you're going to say. I don't care what you believe. I care what they believe.
I don't believe that.
I don't care what you believe.
So, what we're here to talk about today, it took me a while, but I finally got to see the second movie in what will most undoubtedly go down as the best Spider-Man trilogy when it's completed. I finally got to see Across the Spider-Verse.
Big words.
That's not even big words. It's not even like Into the Spider-Verse alone.
You know how people
is like top 10 animation or
agreed.
cartoon movies of all time, period.
Hands down.
Like unarguable.
Yeah.
Like
at least on this podcast.
I don't care what podcast
no,
you
I'm
go
just
on.
saying, like, don't come up here
I will
with
argue you into Thanos Dust Oblivion.
Oh my god!
If you want to play with me about this movie,
I'm just saying, how people ride for their Spider-Man.
You can ride for whoever you want to ride for. You just, if you ain't on the right team, if you ain't on that double M team, you wrong. Like, you just wrong.
Just wrong.
But what I want to do is I want to talk about the movie. I want to talk about our impressions. I want to like re-emphasize the importance of how big Spider-Man is to me. So I argue that. So I'm biased, but I'm gonna be biased, and you can argue with your mama, because if you try to argue with me, you're just gonna take a L. Just period. Because whoever your favorite character is, I guarantee you, there's just not the same drip. There's not the same cachet.
Yeah.
There's not the same, level of class or even just overall goodness. Like, you got moments. Everybody got moments because they gotta spice it up, and you got to get back in black and everything else. But Spider-Man is dope. So we're going to focus.
Oh yeah, we're gonna focus.
We're gonna focus. Come on now,
Listen.
get it together.
Okay.
Hi.
Mm-hmm.
Get it together.
Yeah, that's what I heard was
but yeah,
high.
so we're gonna talk about We're gonna talk about the movie, our impressions, things that we liked. This will be spoiler full. Like I'm not holding back because it's been like 4 weeks. It took me forever to see this movie. I'm not even gonna cap with you. I'm telling you right now on the front end, it's gonna be spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, you gotta go see it and then
Skip
come
this
back
episode,
here,
bro. Come back after you watch it.
or
pause
just
it,
skip to when we have our conversation about Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War arc has come back. The second tour or court, whatever it's called, is back. We also watched that. We're gonna give our first impressions on that towards the end of the episode. And then you'll get the actual breakdown with me and DJ Just Insane at some point, because I'm going to like rewatch and take notes and do all that other stuff. Anyway, so let's start with overall thoughts on the movie.
Okay.
What did you think? I'll let you go first.
All right. So whenever I watch a movie, I'm primarily watching from the perspective of someone who writes, watches, participates in making movies. So I'm looking at it from the perspective of just like the movie itself, not necessarily from a comic book or anything else, right? This movie was solid. It was very good. The character development was great. The animation was ridiculously awesome. Yep. I totally got Mob Psycho vibes during some of the parts, like just because of the changes and the choices that they were making. And I loved the choices that they made in terms of the animation. I loved how creative and like exciting it was to watch. Their choices in terms of the shots they used. I mean, just everything about the movie, it was just well done. I mean, it gives me the same feeling I get whenever there's a game that, like, everything everybody said about Zelda, like, they delayed, but they did the right thing. Like when it came to you, it was ready. It was ready to actually come to you. And that's kind of how this movie felt for me. It felt like they took their time. They didn't leave anything. They didn't leave me with any glaring holes. I wasn't upset about anything. As you know, I have a tendency to get upset whenever someone drops the ball on, like, whether it's the character or the plot,
but
or
most times I think that's like either
there was no,
from most people's perspective, I think that when that happens, that's either from a lack of understanding in terms of like what comic book they're pulling from, because sometimes like
I just think it's laziness,
because
or rushing, or both.
There can be some of that, but I think I'm talking about like upset feelings. So a lot of times, especially I've seen like with the MCU, stuff that upsets you is normally stuff that they either are going to work out because it's comic book movies, so they're going to like bring people back to all sorts of stuff. There are parts of it that could be lazy, but I think a lot of times it's either not being able to do the full run of a comic series or something like that. But anyway, I
was just thinking more in terms of just what upsets me overall with movies. Like, okay. And so, like I said, everything about this movie I really, really enjoyed. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, you brought it back around.
Now you ain't got nothing to say. You made me feel like I said too much, and now it's your turn, and you ain't got nothing to say.
And I was transitioning back, but you were like, "I'm gonna finish saying
what I was saying, which is what I was trying to do."
Inconsequential.
Wow.
But
I'm back for the disrespect, you guys. That's the only reason he keeps me around. Let's just keep it a buck. All right.
So what I enjoyed about the movie most in a lot of different ways is the authenticity. And like you said, the patience that they took in making this. There were so many different things that they handled with such care. What I've realized about this movie is this is the Spider-Man for everybody. Because even though that Peter B. Parker is in the movie, we get to see Mayday and everything like that, it's not based and focused on the Peter Parker variant Spider-Man.
Right.
And it hasn't been since the first movie. Like I said, we do have the variations, but the central core would be Miles and Gwen.
Which I love.
And, if you extrapolate even further in terms of like this movie, you'll think, Spider-Punk, Spider-Man India, like all these characters that
So
are not
good.
Peter Parker. And I
Right.
think that allows everybody that comes into the movie to find themselves. And, even the antagonist being Miguel O'Hara, that's another like non-Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Jessica Drew,
Yeah.
And it's was executed so well. Spider-Punk, for example, they just had Daniel, I can't say his last name because
Okay. That's fine.
but him,
That
you
guy.
know,
No disrespect.
from the guy from
Mr.
Get
Daniel.
the black guy from Get Out.
We like that guy. He's great.
They were like, just talk how you talk. And that's why there's like an authenticity to it. It wasn't like, hey, portray this character. It was be yourself.
Bring yourself to this character.
Yeah,
Like,
bring yourself to this
yeah.
character and bring that that quality that you can't get if you're trying to like just read lines from a script. And I think that was fun, and like the way that they handled just Spider-Punk alone takes so much time, because I've been seeing all these different things. Like there are so many people who are studying just his animations alone, and the fact that they fit with this character. How a lot of the characters, I guess this might sound more in your language, like are animated on one, and there
I
are
am not
characters
an
that are
animator,
animated
but
on
yes.
two. But he was animated on 3, so that's
Yeah.
like I think every third beat, like then he moves, or
Third frame. I
third
think it would be
frame.
Third frame. Yeah.
Then he moves, or like he changes, and they were like everything is the anarchy that is Spider-Punk. And to be so intentional, whether it's the color changes of however Gwen's feeling, and you seeing those colors in her hair, and the pastels, and how much her suit and how much like that matters in her world, and getting her backstory was amazing, because these two movies are like the pinnacle of when I was collecting comics. I'm gonna get back to it at some point and maybe do like reviews and stuff. There are like so many different stories, and I am back at a loss for not knowing really where to start. But
So if you have any suggestions, make sure you leave those in the comments below. Just saying. All right.
But this was just it blew me out of the water. It put me in the happiest place that I always am when I'm watching these Spider-Man movies. It makes me want more. It makes me feel heroic. It makes me feel good. It makes me mad that I know the story.
Why? Because does it change the way you enjoy
Well,
it?
because what they're doing currently, it doesn't change how I enjoy it, because I love the Ultimate Spider-Man run. I'm not necessarily a fan of some of the newer stories, but they are holding Miles Morales' story very close, and they're telling the ultimate version of his story in a couple different ways, in making him the central focus of the Spider-Verse as opposed to Peter Parker and all the other Spider people that we got introduced to. They basically, especially in the first movie, it was a 1-to-1. Now they're kind of expanding upon that and talking about his existence and everything else, which is something that he dealt with a couple times, here and there. And I think expounding on this world and his story, and like not divvying too much from what Brian Michael Bendis originally wrote for him has really paid off for them. Sony can be hit or miss. Like currently right now, they are, amazing with working with, I believe, Insomniac to make the Spider-Man games, and then the movies in and of themselves have just been stellar. And this movie was, no exception to that rule in terms of what they got going on. I'm more than super hyped for Beyond the Spider-Verse, and then I'm just above the moon for the Miles Morales movie. like I don't really know. My head is gonna explode. Like I am as hype as I was for Black Panther. Trust and believe. Like for every like I didn't get dressed up. We dressed in all black in solidarity for it. But for this, like listen.
Same, yeah.
I'm probably
same
gonna show
feelings.
out.
And I mean, and let me tell you guys right now, I did not know that they were not going to solve every problem at the end of the movie. Okay, I thought this was just like a kind of like the first one. It was a standalone with hints. You know, they were going to leave you hints as to where they were going to start in the second movie. Not a cliffhanger. Okay? I did not expect that. I was not ready. Okay, so when we got to the end, and of course, Icarus knows what's happening. He knows where this is going. He can tell we've been here this amount of minutes. It's going to be over soon. I am at a complete loss. I am angry with my stupid spoiling from the dumb streaming platforms like Netflix that entice me to freaking keep watching because my patience has started to get lower. Okay, so as soon as I saw the to be continued, I was like, what is this? What do you mean? I mean, it just reminded me of how audiences have changed and like how we're just like how we how we consume stories differently based on the platform. And I appreciated them for that because the ending was fantastic. I mean, just so hyped for the next one. But yeah.
I thought, there was so much packed into this movie to make not Dalmatian, Spot. I was about to call him Dalmatian, but Spot as a villain.
Oh yeah, Spot is crazy.
Was good.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I enjoyed just the simplicity of the Spider-Man villain. Like no villain, majority of the time has a real good reason for hating the hero.
No,
like at all.
But yeah,
but building it up the way that they did and setting it up in a way that's kind of like. I'm pretty sure it's going to shift. I'm pretty sure he's going to end up helping, or again, Miles is going to want to help him in some kind of way because that's Miles. But that's also the key to being Spider-Man. And, the twist being that they spent the whole movie basically saying that Miles was the Nexus event. Like if you've watched Loki, then you know what a Nexus event is. And basically he was never supposed to be Spider-Man. And
he's the
him,
variant. Therefore
being Spider-Man has caused all of these different problems.
Yeah.
And at the end, he's trying to get back because he realizes that his canon event, because they talk about these canon events, the things that are supposed to happen to make you Spider-Man, is that whenever somebody becomes the police captain, if they're related to Spider-Man, they die. And that would mean that his dad was going to die. And the whole movie is basically him being like, well, why don't we even get to just try?
Right.
Like, why are we accepting these things just as they are? Our job is to try and save people. We can figure the rest of it out, but why we have to be heroes? Like, my sacrifice is everything.
I like how meta that is too, in terms of like they're challenging the sequence of events and the story, the standard story as we've come to know it and expect it. So it's kind of an indictment, I think, on the audience too, as well as the creators and the writers. Like, why do we constantly expect our heroes to fail in this way? Why do we have to have them lose someone so close for us to trust that they can grow and become stronger and be the Spider-Man we want them to be? And I think I think it's telling, just because I was so like, please let him actually make it, while also halfway expecting that maybe he won't, just because stories have gotten so pessimistic in that way. Like I've become almost used to that.
If we're talking about Spider-Man specifically, And that I mean, I'm a scholar on that. What I can speak to in regards to that is it's an easy, and I'm not gonna call it lazy.
No, it's not
just more of an
lazy.
easy, but it's an easy way to free our hero up to doing the things that they need to do. So when we overcomplicate, so prime example. So Superman, Lois Lane. Superman, Lois Lane, I can't think of the boy that he works with at the Daily Bugle or whatever. But him, the Johnny or whoever his name is. Like, you got a couple people, like his mom, you know, you have a short amount of people that we have to like worry about or think that a villain is going to mess with because ain't nobody going out to Kentucky or wherever he's from majority of the time, right? When you talk about Spider-Man in terms of New York, in terms of all of these different connections, and you think about the greater Marvel universe, Spider-Man, because he is the person that he is connected. And a lot of the time, if we're not able to like kind of start centralizing the focus, the responsibility of a nerd getting a certain level of power and having to understand the responsibility of that. And so it's easy in a lot of ways, but that's like a defining maturity moment because a lot of people don't just make the decision to not use their powers or to use their powers for whatever. Now, Brian Michael Bendis in and of himself really broke that mold with with Miles. And yeah, he does still have basically his Uncle Ben moment.
He does.
And it's just with Peter and then later on with his mom in the comics currently. I do feel like that's what they're leading up to because him and his mom had way too many conversations. And it could be a red herring to the fact that of the people who have read the comics. And maybe, you know, I know you were saying you hope that both of them gets to survive, but I'm just pretty positive they're just gonna do a little switcheroo and something's gonna happen to his mom or something like that.
That would suck, man. I mean,
it's comic book accurate. It would suck, but it would just be comic book accurate to the ultimate story that they've been telling.
But
because his Uncle Aaron, you know, in the first movie on Prowler, is already gone.
Yeah, but that made sense.
Yeah,
it did. It made sense, because the way that I'm seeing this used, like, and kind of to the point that you just made about it freeing up the character, right? Like now you don't have a physical person to be your moral compass. You've got to take on that role and mature and be that moral compass. I get that, but I still think, I mean, for once, can we please do it differently? Like just this one time, can we please? Like just because he is only 15, he keeps trying to say, "I'm an adult, I'm an adult, I'm an adult, I'm an adult." And that's another like weird trope to me. It's like 15 is not an adult, my friend. Like I know you're doing big things and you are saving the world and stuff. You're doing big guy things. This is true, but that doesn't mean that you are like an adult. Like you still got stuff to learn, and
Okay, so at this point, I think I'm gonna pull out my just. And not nostalgia, but the general connection. So the reason why Spider-Man works so much better than other superheroes for me in terms of being at the top of my list is the everyman at that age hero.
Yeah.
We got older Peter Parker and all that stuff, but the reason people connect is behind that mask, the confidence, the jokes, the sarcasm, all of these things that you just generally connect with.
Yeah.
And so, how am I trying to break this down? Basically, what we're dealing with is this. Yeah, it would be great. But the reality of who Spider-Man is versus like how Batman reacts to stuff is always going to be genuine and authentic. And when you're in that space of being, you know, a nerdy kid or whatever and getting joked at about it, like it's getting better. It's a lot better than anything what it was when I was coming up. But the thing about it is dealing with the adversity, dealing with the trials and tribulations and everything is what endears Spider-Man to so many more people than any of the other superheroes. And yeah, you can have it, but then it stops speaking for those of us that don't, or those that don't have that have, a rough situation going on. It's the genuineness and the goodness of Spider-Man in terms of who he is as a character that kind of propels us through, because it's more authentic to something. It's not like Superman, like I'm an alien who's stronger than you and I just choose to be good. It's, I got these powers, like I can lose even though I'm like super strong comparatively to like a lot of the Avengers and so many other people, but I don't want to lose the people that matter to me. I don't want to lose this situation that's going on. Like I have to be real and authentic. And we laugh all the time because I think in in No Way Home, Jamie Foxx makes the joke that he thought Spider-Man was black from Brooklyn or whatever. He is from Brooklyn. Wait, is he from Brooklyn? Or is he from Queens? He's from Brooklyn.
Okay, I was about to look it up.
And the reason that is because when you think about where Spider-Man protects and the things that he does, you just get kind of like this life. You just get kind of this instant, it could be me. Like nobody feels like, okay, my billionaire, family is like, I'm just going to become Batman. Nobody feels like, oh, I'm from another world, and in a real way, like this being on this world is going to make me stronger than everybody. It's like, no, I kind of feel like a real person who just like, what would I do with powers? What would I do if given the opportunity and given the chance? And if given the chance to actually save people and do things better and do things in a really good way, that's when you end up with just this amazing movie. And like I said, I want a whole bunch of spoilers here because I just got to gushing about how much I love the movie. But like I can't wait. I think it's like it's singularly the best writing that is available given the circumstances of Hollywood not wanting to pay folks. And that's
and I've
saying
heard that
a lot.
Changes
Me too.
very, very soon because yeah,
Yeah, but that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
For that movie to be that good, given everything that's going on, that team is amazing.
I mean, they got it done mad early. It would have been what, a year, 2 years ago at this point they would have had to write and done and been animating all that time.
They've been doing it, I think, for about 5 years.
Yeah, so so the script would have been solid. Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago. So yeah. But the writing is phenomenal. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend. Go check it out. Yeah.
Go see that, and then we only have to wait a little over a year before Beyond the Spider-Verse, and then I'm not sure on the Miles Morales movie. I really need for all of this writer stuff to be resolved because if y'all mess that up, I
feel like if they were smart, they probably already got like the third script in the can. Like if they were
no.
Studio
The third
smart.
script I know was in the can. I'm talking about the live action Miles Morales movie.
Oh yeah, no.
So
there's
I don't need that being messed up because I will fight. Yeah. Like I will literally fight.
Yeah.
Because I was so giddy at Civil War, just Spider-Man popping up and it being like, no, that is Spider-Man. Like it's not, teenage. I like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. As much as I love those movies, like I'm not connecting with you when I look at you. Versus hearing Tom Holland and seeing Tom Holland and being like, that's Peter. At the age he should be at the age that like connects with more people and like looks like they're trying to build something off of that. So I just hope they get all stuff done because I'm really excited for that. It was an amazing movie. I love seeing all different Spider-Man. A couple of my favorite Spider-Man were in the movie, like was it Spider-Man Unlimited? I think it's Spider-Man Unlimited, which is like the kind of the future Spider-Man, which is like Miguel O'Hara, but it's actually Peter Parker with like a nano suit or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was like one of my favorite Spider-Man at the time, because especially like the nano suit, like nanotech in MCU or just Marvel in general or anything makes me so happy.
It's crazy.
Like, it's just like, oh, I can have a cool suit that changes and does all this other stuff or whatever. But yeah, so as well as there were a couple others.
I loved hearing Issa Rae voice Jessica Drew. Like, I really loved her in that role. She killed it. Like, she was hilarious the whole time. Good.
And again, like, they are very unapologetic about leaning into the different race Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Like,
it was so cool.
It's not something that you get a lot.
No.
And I appreciated it from a grandstanding. So we don't make this episode like super duper duper long. We'll make about 10 more minutes longer. Let's get into talking about Bleach being back. You can espouse any theories or things that you have, because I know you got nothing.
Because I told myself at the end of last season I was going to read, and I didn't. I have not had time. You guys, you have no idea. My goodness. So I have not read, and so when I'm coming back into this, I forgot Ishida was like anti. I mean, I knew he was the enemy, but still, I'm still kind of like, what is he really doing here? I'm still super suspicious of that. I know that they're gonna hold Ichigo hostage until, in terms of him actually being able to participate in the war, until the absolute last gosh darn minute. So I'm not necessarily. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing his training, but I really I'm not looking forward to like all these fights. I am, sorry, but I'm scared.
I don't mean to just make you pause, but.
I can't wait to hear him say those words. Oh my god, I love his dual wielding. I'm super excited.
Well,
about
that's not gonna happen till like late.
No, I know, like the end, and I'm not like I'm upset about that.
I mean, you get a couple panels. Mad. You get a couple, I think, chapters of like that.
But one thing I am gonna say is I'm happy. Like we've talked about this kind of before, maybe not on the podcast, but like how shows are and movies are intended to condense. Whereas novels are usually to expand. I love that they're doing the opposite here, because manga often has it usually does condense a lot of information in these panels, and so I like that we're getting more time with people.
Well, the bigger thing is like, and there's a lot of disputes about whether or not Kubo had time to finish, or whether he wanted to finish, or whether they were rushing him, and whether he was feeling sick. All these different theories that he's either debunked or had conversations about. They know what this is. Yeah. Like, again, I repeat to you, if you are a new listener and you've never heard me say this before, the big three is One Piece, Naruto, and because they changed a lot. You do not get Jujutsu Kaisen without Bleach.
Hey, listen.
You do not get a lot of, you don't really get Black Clover without Bleach and Naruto and like One Piece. Now, granted, if you want to trump that and say, I mean, I'm yes, but Clover, like that's
like Black Clover.
Yeah, I've said their amalgamation or their combination before, but either way, if you want to go back to Dragon Ball Z, if you want to say Yu Yu Hakusho, trust and believe, Bleach is still the one that you're getting entranced by, and so we're back. We're back like with the continuation of where we left off last time, which was Ichigo getting his true Zangetsu, his dual Zangetsus that houses all of his power, his hollow power, and his Shinigami power. And Ichibei comes to talk to him, and he's like, "Yep, you got to train, and you are not currently ready to do this." The thing about it, and I guess I don't want to get into spoiler territory with you, but I kind of want to have some conversations.
Okay.
So the big thing that is going on currently, that is kind of a parallel between Ichigo and Uryu, is the inheriting of a throne. So
That's true.
if you're looking at Uryu in terms of Yhwach and him getting the letter A and basically being the successor because
the will of D,
he was
the letter A.
Supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
And I have to go and check to make sure, because I don't think it was in the manga that the reason he chose him, which it makes sense currently, is because there's something about him and he was the only Quincy out of all of them that didn't die. And it's not like Uri wasn't a pure Quincy. I mean, he wasn't like from his father and his mom was the maid, and yes, she wasn't like full. She wasn't royal in that sense, but he's full Quincy.
Yeah,
like it's not a guess. So like trying to figure out why that didn't happen to him is something I'm interested in learning more about, and I don't remember whether or not it was in the manga. It's something I'm probably gonna read and catch up to here because I'll get back to reading here soon as well. And then you have Ichigo on the same hand where everybody's having these conversations with him about stuff with the Soul King and the fact that they're worried about the level of power.
Because he might not be able to come back if his power
he's having a conversation with him, and it's just the details and the specifics of the words that they're saying is about, okay, to beat Yhwach, the son of the Soul King, like
you gotta be the
you
Soul King.
You have to be in a certain level of power, which is what they're alluding to.
Yeah.
So that, like I said, that's not too much of a spoiler because they're being very blatant about it.
The foreshadowing is really
like you just kind of have to.
This is a great this is a podcast about foreshadowing because both the movie and the show, great about it. Great about it.
Amazing. And so you pick up on these little points, and there's all these little new scenes. Like there's this new Wakamundo stuff. There's seeing the oh my gosh, the what are they called? The Bankai, not the Bankai, the
Zanpakuto?
No, the hollow.
You're talking about the
Golly, why is my brain freezing? But them
is too.
So you see
them.
all of them.
Who is them? Describe them. It'll help.
It won't because I can't remember nobody outside of Love. I can't remember nobody's name, and that's I remember all the black people.
Not the
names.
substitute Shinigami.
No,
not them.
No, I'm not talking about Genjo. Those are substitute. Those are oh my gosh, terrible things. Great arc in terms of dealing with Ichigo and his pain, but golly. Anyway, as I get so caught up in everything, but like seeing them,
the visors.
The Vizards, yes. Thank you. Or the Wizards, or however you want to call them. Thank you. So seeing Shinji and everybody else again was great. Like the conversation that the commander has with them is similar to the manga. I know it was there, and they've done that I think maybe twice, where they've come to like talk to them about like if Ichigo can't come back. The other part about them in having that conversation that I can't remember whether or not they clarified is telling that their response is basically the friends who think about Ichigo is like Ichigo is always going to be the same. Like if you think that he's not going to want to come back, if you think that you're going to be able to stop him from coming back, you tripping.
Out your mind. Yeah.
Like because he's not who you're trying to make him out to be, and you know that's he's consistent in that way.
No throne room. That's not him.
Also, like the tonal shift in how serious the 1,000-Year Blood War arc has been, like the gruesomeness, the realness of the fact that this is a war. Mm-hmm. while dealing with all of these different characters and like their responses to it. The intro, oh my God, they back in their intro bag.
It was so beautiful
because
I love the tiles. I love it.
They are exquisite at giving away the plot while not giving away the plot like everybody else does.
Yeah, I like in terms of the showdowns, like the way that they chose to do that with the basketball game.
Yeah,
the rap battle, like,
yeah,
and you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. If you haven't seen it yet, you'll know what I mean. Like that was just so
my favorite
creative.
part about it was Zaraki dropping the flowers off of the bridge.
I don't know what that's in reference to.
Unohana.
I thought so. I was so sad about that.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool because his fight is coming up soon. And whenever his fight comes up, Ichigo's introduction is very shortly after that.
Oh.
For a specific reason that is so amazing. That's
I can't
so
wait.
great.
There's so much going on with this. I'm very, very hyped about it.
But yeah, it's been really dope. The animation, bro, was so freaking good.
What I mean, and they're not wasting time either, because I thought I'd at least get the first full episode before people just ready to start popping it off. But no. End of the first episode, you guys, we are back in this war. I'm like, did
it's
they bury
everybody? I told you.
Jeez Louise.
I told you from the beginning there was no, like, I don't know. You
Give them room to
forget and then
breathe.
you allow them to lull you back in.
Yes,
and
they
I
did.
tell you every time, I'm like,
no, there's no
like,
there's no
especially
time.
not from here. Like from here on, it's just gonna be a lot of frustrating fights that you like. Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what?
And one thing I will always credit anime with being able to do so expertly well is do a crazy information dump in the middle of an epic fight.
Oh yeah, well.
Like
I'm
I
not
mean,
gonna
they
talk about the ones
will.
that's not
I'm
able
just
to do
saying
it, but,
they like to drop bombs while they dropping bombs. That's all I'm saying.
But yeah, this first episode was dope. Like I said, you got so much new information or so many new shots all in the first episode. I'm ready to see the second episode only because I want to see if they keep the quality up, because that's kind of been, the quality was consistent.
Oh,
but a lot of the
first,
times,
yes,
but
it was.
that's normally what we expect.
Yes.
So then when you start getting into the weekly grind of everything, like, okay, how much are you reusing? How many shots are you gonna bring back? How many like random still shots can we get of somebody looking derpy? I don't think they're gonna do that, because I know for a fact this is a tough time, and I wish that there was like more viewership numbers that I could pull up, because Jujutsu Kaisen I think came back yesterday or the day before. And
yeah, it's recently back too.
It's taking L's to Bleach.
We'll see.
We'll see what
we'll know by next week.
We'll see what. What?
All right, fine.
You're playing with me? Get out of here. Ain't nobody playing.
We'll see.
Not playing with me.
And
it's not that I don't think it's bad. I don't think Jujutsu Kaisen is bad. I just know who his daddy is. But anyway.
Wow. All right. And
sometimes you just gotta. Okay. So last little topic I want to get on before we get off here. So the other part about this pair podcast that has been a little bit difficult for me, I have not been finding as many animes that like just pull me in.
Yeah.
Outside of Hell's Paradise, which I do enjoy a lot. I can't wait to have like a deep dive on that series and kind of approach it from a couple perspectives. We don't like inundate you or talk all the time about our faith or anything like that, but I really want to talk about that episode, about that series through the lens of somebody that has faith and all this other stuff, because it is so well executed in terms of like the desires and just how people have desires, how people have things that they want, how people have things that they're trying to do and like what they want to succeed at, like what are our at base.
Yeah.
Like what do you let your instincts do? And I think it's an amazing execution of that, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about that. And like a lot of the other animes that we watch, we just haven't gotten around to them yet. Not because we don't think they're going to be good, but it's just been like a rough time because I feel like the quality of anime overall is really not low, but like it ain't as plentiful as it was when I started, because I could find more than a handful of animes that are classics, and I don't feel like there are many that are slipping to that level. There are some that are pushing their way up there, whether it's Mobsu Gundam, The Witch of Mercury, that's really, really dope. Ranking of Kings,
which we gotta get back on. I can't wait.
Rent a Girlfriend,
yes,
is amazing for like the trash anime Olympics in terms of like the relationship ones, which most people might call or I call them mid tier. For me, they're mid tier.
Really? I find them not all of them. I find that one and a couple others very cute.
Because like it's just, how do you do relationships in the way that they're doing these relationships? As y'all know, my number one all time in terms of relationships is always going to be Rascal Does Not Drink Bunny Girl Senpai. I will tell you to watch that to cows come home. Mm-hmm. And it's not really about the relationships. It's more about how they use adolescence as a metaphor and as a vehicle to accentuate their characters and everything else. But overall, it's just really hard for me to find a lot of anime that I'm like, okay, the quality is up here. It's staying up here. It's like a Bungo Stray Dogs or something like that. Like the story is not rushed.
The animation is good. It's not just relying on cheesy, quick, common tropes to get through, which a lot of them that I've been trying to get into just are. It's just and
I also break down why I think Jobless Reincarnation is trash one of these days. Outside of the other mediums where I've just broken it down, it's not that I don't think the story itself could be good. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot of there's a lot that I'm wanting in terms of their character development that I don't think that they did the same way. That there is absolutely no character development in the time I got reincarnated as the world's greatest assassin or whatever it's called. Like we started out with high hopes.
No. The world's greatest assassin gets reincarnated as an aristocrat.
Okay,
that's what it is.
Yeah.
And yes, we did start off with high hopes, despite
and then
red flags.
Just checked a lot of stuff, and it was like, nope. But anyway, we've done enough waffling. Shout out to Nintendo Life, old Alex. But yeah. So all in all, we enjoyed the Spider-Man movie. Bleach is. Hold on. I ain't gotta say much. Matter of fact, I ain't gotta say nothing.
Don't. And if your Bankai don't have a space in between, it ain't the real Bankai.
It's not.
Anyway,
if you just be like Bankai,
it ain't right.
What is that?
It ain't real.
Like, who is that?
It's not the real one. All right,
you gotta pause. But yeah, we appreciate y'all. She's back. I mean, it's summer, so she's off from her day job for a little bit. So I'll be able to pull her in to do more episodes.
Until my spaceship comes in, so to speak.
And then we're going to get way more consistent. We're going to watch all the stuff that we need to watch. Teach Me Senpai is going to come back. We have 2 episodes already recorded of we're taking BSG, Bible Study Girl, through Ranking of Kings. We got the first 2 episodes that I'm going to throw up here at some point or just scrap and re-record. But who knows? I appreciate y'all for rocking with us. Make sure you go to youtube.com/Icarus Gray.
Yes, indeed.
Check out the content. Check out the music. Check out the album. I guarantee you it'll be, like I said, the soundtrack for your summer. It's a honeysuckle summer out here.
What's the name of that album again?
Gray Matter.
That's right.
Gray Matter. So go and check that out. Icarus Gray, Gray Matter. Anywhere that you can listen to music, I be there. I be the pappy. And I'm there.
Life reference. All right.
So yeah, I would say do your thing, but I'm gonna just tell y'all all of the links to the socials and all that good stuff is down in the description.
There we go.
So go check us out. Follow me and just see what we got coming up. I appreciate y'all. A 1 and a 2 and a peace, because Kirby says
Hi.
it's dangerous. Go alone. So I choose you guys. Until next time.